This is the High Value Man Conversation Podcast, a show dedicated to the mission of building high-value men. Men that are courageous, committed, and uncompromising in their pursuit of greatness.
You run the day and stop having the day run you.
Monday, get better. Tuesday, get better. Wednesday, get better.
Everybody's great when they're not tired. Champions is when they're tired. That's when the real champions come out.
The next day, get up, get up, get up, get up. Keep going.
Winning. I'm going to win.
You're not as far away from these dreams as you think you are.
One great man means a great family, a great neighborhood, a better city, community, state, and the world. The question is, if not you, then who? Welcome back to the High Value Man Conversation. This episode is about the hot, steamy, wonderful roses and romance. This is the romance episode, and we're going to dive into what builds romance, why so many guys stop doing the romantic things after they get into a season of relationship, and how to reignite with some practical, tactical tools. There's even a spreadsheet in there that doesn't sound romantic, but for us logical guys is a really good way for you to stay on top of igniting and developing romance in your romantic relationship.
This is a big one. So romance is what keeps our relationships. It has our relationships, Aaron, that fun, the playfulness, the emotional connection, the fire that keeps us about each other in the beginning. But like you mentioned, romance is one of those things that guys historically are not so great at. We have lots of romance in the beginning, and then we can often check that box and then move on to other things. We wonder why relationships reflect that. Romance is the key to you having the relationship of your dreams. Period. It's the key to you having the relationship of your dreams. So guys, grab a seat, grab a pencil, grab a glass of water. This is one that you want to listen to a couple times over, because it's going to help you get from wherever you are in your relationship to where you want to be.
I love that.
Period.
So let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Why would you want to have romance in your life?
Man, romance is what makes it fun. Romance gives you that feeling, not just of accomplishment, but that feeling of connection, that feeling of being drawn towards one another. We can often think of romance this way when a relationship is new. We've all dated someone at some point and can think of the first couple weeks of it. Yep. When we're on fire about each other. Like, I can't wait to talk to you again. I'm sending you text messages. I'm going out and getting flowers. I can't wait for our next date. Like, I know she's at work and I want to talk to her, but I can't wait till she gets off just so I can buzz her and catch up with her. I want to hear about her day. It's the fun, playful, exciting part of relationship. And nobody says that has to go away. We allow it to go away. So what is romance? Romance is the reason we even get in a relationship.
Yeah.
Ever.
So good.
It's so huge. It's essential. It's essential in our relationships. It helps us feel close. It helps us feel connected. We have this feeling of acceptance when we're in a relationship, specifically when the romance is right. That helps us feel that way. Romance helps us foster intimacy. And intimacy for men is something that is often difficult, generally speaking, but for the reasons of the way that we're designed to be, romance and relationship helps us create that intimacy in relationship that we'll never have with any other individual. Yep. You'll never have that level of intimacy and connection with your business partners, the people that you sell to, the guys in your circle that you run with, your old ball friend from high school or college. You'll never have that same emotional connection and feeling that you'll have with your spouse or partner when you do it right and when romance is the center focus of it.
Sex. I'm going to just consolidate everything that Josh said. And so as the single guy in a dynamic in the relationship, sex is a motivating factor for most men. And most of the guys that I coach and we coach, I'd say one of the things they want more of is sex. They want more physical intimacy in the dynamic of the relationship. Without romance, sex doesn't happen long term. It's just the truth, because romance is the intentional pursuit of your partner that sets the safety, security, the intimacy, and the closeness and the connection that allows sexual relations to blossom. So without doing the work from a romantic standpoint, the intentional effort, the consistent romantic effort, sex dries up.
Yeah, it does, and the experience of it completely changes, Aaron.
Yeah.
A lot of marriages, when romance isn't on the forethought of a man, and it's not happening frequently. I'm talking about romance as in the emotional connection, the intellectual connection, the spiritual connection, the
pursuit.
Then the sexual connection can often start to feel more like duty. You start to have this duty sex between one another, versus that hot, high, satisfactory, fun, playful, all about each other, that Hollywood type sex, which is certainly available to us. I say that as I raise my hand, being over 10 years into my relationship, and that's what I get to live out. It's not a pat on my back. It's just I've done the work. What we're going to give you today to have that in your relationship and have it successfully is, I think we all want that.
Yes.
I think we do.
Wholeheartedly. And again, it just goes back to the fact that we talk to hundreds of men, and one of their primary needs they want in a romantic relationship is that sexual intimacy and connection. Well, if it's lacking, it's because you're not doing something from an intentional standpoint, or you stop doing something. So we had a previous episode, we talked about the bulletproof breakup guide. What you need to do as a high value man in a relationship really all comes down to consistency. What did you do in the beginning of the relationship that you stopped doing somewhere along the way? We're going to get in those tools, the date night, the hot sheet, in order to really develop and understand curiosity with your partner. But the things that you would do as a man consistently over time is going to develop the romance and develop your intimacy.
That's so true. The foundation of romance, Aaron, is pursuit. Just to give the answer, it's pursuit. What romance requires is your pursuit. It has to take the cake. So what is pursuit? Pursuit is awareness and effort. Pretty simple. Pursuit is awareness and effort. Awareness is getting to know our partner and then continuing to get to know our partner. Being aware of their wants, being aware of their needs, being aware of their desires, what makes them tick, understanding them. Everybody evolves throughout their life, especially if you've been in a relationship long term, so we'll say anything over a year. Everybody continues to evolve. And so what your spouse liked a year ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago has certainly evolved or changed since then. It is up to us to be aware of these things, to continue to get to know our partner. And then you marry that with effort. Effort is something you can control to the end of the day. And you can control two things in your life. And you've heard us preach this and we'll continue to preach it. You can control your attitude and your effort. Period. So having a great attitude will certainly help you gain momentum in your relationship, but it's the effort piece. We have to be aware of our partner and put massive effort behind it. That is pursuit. If you pursue your partner, try it. Go do it. Just talking about the fruit, the ROI that we get as far as what that can produce for us is day and night.
I love what you said. So awareness, pursuit is awareness and effort. So if you think about awareness, that means you're staying curious of who your partner is. That means you're not coming home and applying the same mechanics, the same rules, touch here, pat there, and just expect a certain outcome without actually understanding who that person is, because we're constantly changing, just like you said. So staying curious, being in that curious mode, just like you were in the beginning of the relationship, because we're always changing. I think that's the one thing that probably ends up getting a little stale in a relationship, is because you stop dating your person, and so you end up feeling like you already know them. You already know what to expect. So many guys get blindsided in their relationship when she's like, hey, I want a separation. We should go to counseling. I'm not happy, because they're not staying curious and staying aware of their partner.
I love that. One of the things I hear so often in our coaching settings, Aaron, is, and this is a stalemate comment across the board, but men so often will tell their partner or tell their spouse, you know I love you. Don't you know I love you? And that's just a picture of, we've come into a relationship, we had massive pursuit in the beginning, and we've become stale. We've allowed that to be shifted from our forethought to an afterburner type of thing. So often our spouse literally just wants to know that they're loved. They want to know they're loved. This whole, so if you say, you know I love you, let's cut that out of the vocabulary. Show me that you do. Tell me that you do. Women need to hear on a frequent basis what they mean to us, that they're valuable, that they're desired, that they're beautiful, that all these things that women are, they need to hear it. And they also need to be shown it through, whether it's acts of service for you, doing things for her around the house, seeking her, pursuing her. But again, scheduling the dates. You have to schedule the dates. I don't care if you have 14 kids, it's still up to you. Schedule the dates. Protect the time that you set out for each other. You prioritize what you protect, and you protect what you prioritize. So if romance is something that you want in your relationship, whether you've been together 2 weeks or 20 years, you have to make sure it comes through. And that comes through making the decision of dating, getting to know, and seeing it through, and it takes lots of effort.
I love that. You touched on something that I think every guy should have in his arsenal, and that's the love languages. So there's 5 love languages. They are acts of service. This is doing things for your partner in the house. There's gifts, and so you're actually physically giving them a gift. There are words of affirmation. I love you. You're beautiful. You're meaningful to me. There is physical touch. A lot of guys think physical touch is romance and love, but there's so many more layers to that, to be able to hold hands, just pat, love, massage is non-sexual. And then what am I forgetting? What's left?
Quality time.
Quality time. And so being intentionally present with your partner, that means phone aside, date night, the kids are off at the sitters, you're fully present, you've done the planning for the dates. And so these are the 5 love languages. You can get the book, read it, understand what yours is, but also know what your partner's is. This is going to increase that curiosity, the awareness, so you can love her in her language rather than assuming that by you doing something, paying the bills, or showing up, that she is feeling loved by you.
That's so huge. And for all of our quality time guys out there, because I'm one of those. If you or your spouse is a quality time person, take this to heart. Proximity is not presence.
So good.
Proximity is not presence. Presence is tech-free. Presence is belly to belly. It's intimacy of eye connection. It's being with you, having dialogue, not monologue, having dialogue. And then you can add in some of the other items. But if you have a quality time person that you're with, or your quality time, realize that you've got to put the devices away. You've got to get intimate connection with somebody that's eye level and that's touching. What I love about that, Aaron, is this was such a big insight for me years and years ago when I read that book and then took my test, because naturally we love the way that we want to be loved. So as a quality time touch man, that's how I love people. When I am spending time with an individual, again, whether it's guys in my life or my spouse, but my spouse specifically, is when I'm being with her and I'm touching on her non-sexually. So that's not the bathing suit areas that I'm loving on her. Well, it so happens in God's humor that my wife is a words of affirmation person, and she's also a gifts person. So I'm loving her with my presence, I'm loving her with my touch, and she likes those things. But are they filling her up? No. I've got to go out of my way to love on her with my words. Text messages throughout the day that I'm thinking about her, that she's beautiful, what she means to me, calling her randomly, or just telling her, listen, I've thought about you all day. I just want you to know you're on my mind. It means more to her than just my presence and my touch. And specifically, because she's words of affirmation, Aaron, I historically have written my wife a card and mailed it to her house.
So good.
And that is a way that fills her love bank in a way that most of my other actions and acts for her can't. Is she gets a card in the mail from me when I could have put it on the counter, that I went to the time to write it, and it's short. Went to the time to write it and mail it to us. It's been a huge ROI in our relationship.
I love that. So that's your step 1 in the how of to be a romantic man and lead in your relationship is get the book, the 5 love languages, know what your love language is, know what your partner's love language is, and start to intentionally pursue your partner with her love languages. How else can we develop romance in our relationship?
So romance is fostered by consistency. So for any of us that maybe we're getting into a relationship, or we've been in a relationship a long time and things can start to feel stale, is we can do a few things and immediately most men go, well, I wrote you a card, I bought you some flowers, I took you to dinner last Friday night, where's my sex? But romance is fostered through consistency. So 1, understanding how your spouse wants to be loved, or your partner wants to be loved, loving them in a way that they want to be loved, and doing that consistently throughout the weeks and the months.
Years.
I love this. Women are like a flower. It's part of the polarity that they bring to a relationship. And if you'll consistently romance them, you will see them like a flower does. The way that they open up, they're more beautiful, they're more tender, they're soft, they're playful. They bring to our relationship things that a man never could. But through consistency of romance, which is consistency of pursuit, you will see your spouse blossom in front of you. You may get a taste in your relationship that you've never had before because you consistently chose to do these things.
I love that. Love language is consistency. One tool you guys gave me as I was in my relationship season, I call it the hot sheet. And I think the hot sheet is just such a tactical way for you to stay current with your partner and stay curious. And so what the hot sheet is, it's all of your partner's likes, dislikes, shoe size, Lululemon size, favorite restaurants, how she likes her food, how she likes her steak cook, like all those little details that you accumulate over time that allows you to stay current, present, and curious. Josh is pulling up his hot sheet, but the hot sheet is a tactical tool that you should be building in the early stages of a relationship. relationship, because over the years, you can reference that. Man, her favorite date night in the first couple of weeks, favorite spot, first kiss that we had, all those little moments, and being able to reference that throughout the relationship not only keeps you front of mind and constantly romancing her, but also makes her feel very pursued and very important.
I love that. It's so integral. So I've had 7 concussions, and so my short-term memory is pretty much garbage. But regardless, if you're in a relationship, if you're married, this hot sheet is a key. This is a key, man. So you may or may not be able to see this, but I have an iPhone, and in my contacts is my wife. At the bottom of the contacts, you can put notes in there.
Yep.
And so I just started doing this 10 years ago, of when Brits would mention a certain size of her Lululemons, when she would mention her shoe size, her ring size, to the concerts that she wants to go see, just in conversation, to the way that she would text me on the way home, and hey, I'm grabbing Starbucks, would you like anything? Oh yeah, I want this. I would copy and paste it into my contact notes. And so that's become my hot sheet, is I've got everything in there that Brit's ever mentioned. It's her favorite flowers, gifts that she saw. We're in certain financial seasons, and she's had gifts that are bougie. And so when we get there, it may be years since she said something, but I know exactly what it is. I save it to a T.
It's good.
And it's a great way for us as men to never miss it. Not just when Valentine's Day comes around.
Yes.
Because don't make that the one day you romance your spouse, right? But throughout the year, when I want to bless her, when I want to love on her, I've got this sheet that it's a cheat sheet.
Yep.
Go in, and I can't miss.
Yeah, that's so good.
Husband hack.
Husband hacked. Yeah, no, I love that, because it's such a tactical way for you to stay consistent with it. There's another tool that you guys coach on, but it's finding something to be grateful for with your partner every single day. So creating that same type of list. So you got the hot sheet, maybe it's tab 1 of your spreadsheet. Tab 2 is finding all the things that you love about your person. You get into relationship season after a little while. It's very easy to find things you're critical about, things you don't like, you wish it was different, and you can build that list almost automatically and just reference it. And what you think about, what you say consistently ends up being the relationship that you have. And so having the things that you're grateful for every single day, listen out something that is a benefit to the relationship, what you're grateful for, what you're happy about, what you love about, what you appreciate, and then being able to share that with them.
Yeah, man, that shifts everything. That really shifts everything. Tony Robbins says, where focus goes, energy flows. So I always want my focus to be on the things about Brittany that I adore about her.
Yeah.
And I know we both have our morning schedules. Part of my morning schedule is after my morning study, I get up at 4 a.m., I do 2 hours of morning study, and then I go straight to my ice bath. And so when I'm in my ice bath, which is typically 4 to 5 minutes, I'm going through my gratitudes. I'm grateful for the breath in my lungs. I'm grateful that God has called me to be around great men, but I'm also very grateful for the wife that He has given me. And I often list the things about her that I love the most. Her brilliance, her ability to be present, the mom that she is, how she allows me to pursue her, how she puts up with my nonsense.
Yeah.
These things I'm grateful for. So you're right. So seeding that from your conscious into your unconscious on a daily basis will help us, when we see our partner, our spouse, to see the best in them.
Yes.
Sometimes even when the worst is displayed.
Yeah.
Because life will happen.
100%.
That is a key right there.
Yep, that's absolutely it. I'd say the next piece is date night. And you speak on this because, date night is a non-negotiable in the beginning part of a relationship. No one starts a relationship commitment without dating, right? And so you get to know somebody, you've got date, you as the man. By the way, if you don't know this already, it's your job to schedule, plan, and prepare for the date. It's not just dinner and drinks. No, you're doing something fun and interesting and engaging. And so being able to actually date your person, what you do in the beginning, you do throughout the entire relationship. You're making a date night a non-negotiable part of the week.
It has to be. There's too many things in our life that are reaching and grabbing onto our margin. I mean, our bandwidth is so, especially today's age, our bandwidth is so thin with everything that's requiring our responsibility. There's a consequence to that. So again, Brittany and I teach, so we teach this also, is that you protect what you prioritize. You prioritize what you protect. And so if your relationship is something that you prioritize, you've got to have time outlined on your calendar. Frequently, by the way, 1 a month isn't going to do it for you.
Yeah.
Brittany and I have 2 a month. We have other date nights. We go with couples, but specifically for us, we've got a babysitter for our kids, and it's just her and I, or twice a month. We have our favorite sushi restaurant that we go to. We live in Dallas. If you're outside the town, we love going riding scooters. It's like the cheapest, most fun date. We'll do scooter rides, and it brings out the 12-year-old in both of us. So just knowing what your spouse likes, knowing what you like, allowing that authentic version of yourself to be projected so that your spouse can see your own polarity, and then making sure that you're protecting that more than once a month. And again, if you don't have any kids, make it once a week, depending on what you can do. But it's something you have to prioritize and protect. That's part of the pursuit piece.
I love that. All right, so we're going to recap the tools for you. Number 1, go read the book. the 5 love languages, know what your love language is, know what your partner's love language is, and start to love her in her language, not your love language. Yeah. Build out a hot sheet. This can be a spreadsheet, it can be the notepad, it can be in your iPhone contacts, but start to take notes of all the things that are important to your partner. Shoe size, that's even like lingerie and bra size, what her dress size is, favorite concerts, favorite song, favorite music, the vacation she eventually wants to go on. Put all those details in so you can bring them back up as you get into the seasons of the relationship. Presence is not about proximity.
No.
And so put the phone aside on date night. You're scheduling date nights on a regular basis, weekly, at least bi-monthly. And on those dates, you have planned, you've prepared, you've taken control, you're setting the tone, taking the lead. You're not just coming home and saying, hey, I know tonight's date night. Where do you want to go?
Yeah.
That is the fastest, most effective way for you to destroy romance in your relationship.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Let's give the guys also this easy color scale.
Okay.
So Aaron and I are going to teach you how to have romance and pursuit in your relationship. So there's this color scale, Aaron, that goes from orange, excuse me, to purple.
Okay.
I'm sorry, from green,
yep,
purple, orange. See, I'm a man, so I went right for orange. Orange is sex. So green, purple, and orange. What green is a great friendship. It's a non-sexual way. We're spending time together. We enjoy spending time together. It's pursuit of one another on a friendship. It's supporting one another in our dreams, maybe supporting one another around the house, whether it's watching the kids or cleaning a car, whatever it may be. And so that is what green is. It's hugs, it's playfulness, and it's support. So that is the green portion. And that's a little easier because we enter into that. We're in that in most days of our life. Purple, on the other hand, is romance. Purple is sensual but not sexual.
Okay.
Especially with our touch. It's intimacy, it's pursuits, it's date nights when we're spending time in intentionality with one another. Kissing, even showers together can be part of purple. And this is light petting, again, non-sexual. We're starting to get there, but we're missing that piece. It's a non-sexual way of just to be together. You'll experience more of those feelings of connection and more emotion in those areas. And then there's orange. And so orange is the one that men like to focus on the most. This is sexual. So this is sex itself. This is playfulness. This is where foreplay is. This is also where the hot sex comes in. And also you can experience multiple orgasms. That's where this happens. But on the scale of these colors, from green to purple to orange, see them as a fluid scale, right? So you
light green, dark green.
Light green to dark green, light purple to royal, light orange to, we'll say, rust orange. The more time...
Fiery orange.
Fiery orange. The more time we spend in the green, making sure we're supporting our partner, doing the things domestically to help them, supporting them, being friends with them, gives us an opportunity to then stack on top of it the purple.
Yeah.
And as we're doing our purple, again, this is non-sexual, but this is,
this is the pursuit.
This is the pursuit. A sweet hand in the morning as you're giving hugs, a longer kiss in the morning, maybe before you leave the house, text message out the day, hey, the way your hair looked, the way you smell when I left. That's the pursuit piece. Even so longer kisses. So a 10-second kiss is a great way to start releasing these chemicals that are bonding for us, and women love this. They need it. So one of my favorite purples, Aaron, and I do this to my wife often, is before I leave the house, I'll literally take her and I'll push her up against the wall and I'll lay a kiss on her, and I'll literally just walk away like Big Papi.
There you go.
Every time I've done that, I always get a message or a call later like, man, you got me going, come back home. I'm like, no, girl, you gotta wait.
Yeah.
And so that's really, really strong purple. And again, showers and things like that are non-sexual, just being together is the purple. Most men miss the purple.
Yeah.
We're great.
Green and they want the orange.
We're so good at bringing great support and things. We're providing, we're protecting, but then we want the orange at the end of the day, but we miss the purple. And that's why we want to take time today to highlight romance. It is the hinge that orange swings on. If you want deep, rustic, hot, burnt orange type of sex and experiences with a partner, we've got to hit the purple.
Love that.
So keep those colors in mind.
Yeah.
When you're around your spouse, you're doing things to your partner, for your person. Is this a green thing? Is this a purple thing? Is this an orange thing? If I want great orange, then I've got to have good green, but I've got to have great purple.
I love that. And again, to recap, purple is the pursuit. The intentional, consistent pursuit, romantic pursuit of your partner. Doing what you did at the beginning of the relationship, all throughout the relationship. Learn the love languages, build out your hot sheet, prioritize date night where you're fully present. Phones are away because proximity is not presence. And make sure you continuously pursue in the purple so you can have that red, fiery, hot orange.
Get it. Love that.
Much love, many blessings, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Boom.
get off the podcast, get back to the fucking mental lab.